So what we have done is we have put together a strong panel of experts, thought leaders from the industries and professionals. We're going to have a format which I said is something which is extremely new. And I would request Haresh to please introduce the format quickly and so that we can get on with the discussion. So gentlemen, please take your seats. Be comfortable. I think it's a pretty large panel. Finding it hard to accommodate everyone on the stage.
I think since morning we've been talking about AI a lot, and the areas shagun, very shagun. Yeah, the 13-year-old, somebody who's studying in 8th standard, she already said the things that these are the type of things which we know about AI. So I think we need to ask a lot deeper questions. And see, the 13-year-old knows already so much, so you might have to play a little bit harder and give a little bit more insight than the 13-year-old has already given, isn't it? We're going to do this in a two-part. The first part, we're going to talk about the impact of AI. I think we'll start from where the whole knowledge originates. So we'll talk about the impact of AI in education field. So that's what we are starting, education and skilling, the way it should happen and how it should be doing and what all things AI can do. So that's the first part we'll talk. Second, we'll go to the organizations because that's where the impact is being felt. We'll hear from the industry experts and leaders and thought leaders that what is the impact AI is having and how are they prepared? Are they prepared at all? AI, again, whenever we talk AI, something comes to our mind. And then if we go to the researches, 80% of research is focused only on 2 or 3 areas. I'll share about those things as we go on. But then what are the newer areas in AI where people should focus or the direction of the whole world should go? So that's the third part which we are going to do. Impact done. After that, we're going to talk about ethics. We're going to talk about the framework, regulations. So that's AI regulatory framework. We'll take a little bit deeper dive into that. That data privacy is something which concerns most of us. So we'll talk about that. And finally, we'll end this presentation and panel discussion with ethical and responsible AI. So we'll hear the views from gentlemen here. So that's the flow. Ganesh sir.
I'm ready. So what I'm going to do is I'll start with a set of questions that we got from the audience in advance. So we start with those questions. So I'll start with the first question. How can traditional education integrate AI effectively? So this is primarily for enhanced learning, looking at teaching methods, curriculum, etc. So this question I would like to request Mr. Sumit Kumar. Can you please take a mic and share your thoughts, please?
Sure. I think lot was covered by the young generation when she was presenting. Right? So the education system needs to be looked at in a new perspective. Again, it's my opinion. Chat GPT, etc. is something which will help the students in terms of knowledge. But there has to be a lot of focus on creativity as well as social emotional learning, right? And that's going to be very important, right? AI is definitely going to help, again, aid the students as well as teachers in terms of knowledge, content creation, assessment, and reduction when it comes to administrative efforts, right? So those are things which are given in terms of advantages. But what needs to be looked at is how do we help still maintain that empathy, the connections with the students, right? And there is where I think that should be the focus, and that would continue to be the focus when it comes to education. And again, lot of things around creativity, right? How do you assess not the knowledge, but you're assessing the skill, right? There's going to be a lot of focus on skill, creativity, and experiential based learning, right? And there's going to be a shift from how good you are in terms of content knowledge, but there's going to be more focus on application, right? How are you applying the knowledge? Assessment, in my opinion, would soon change from theoretical knowledge assessments to practical knowledge, right? Again, I don't know whether we would continue to have this offline assessments, right? There will be more practical assessments which will come into play. Those are some of the things which comes in my mind.
Yeah. So my next question is around how can AI bridge educational gap and ensure fairness, preventing widening of inequalities that exist in the forms of education that we have. Because India is a very vast country and we always have a divide between urban and rural, and the quality of education is something which AICTE chairman stressed upon. My question is about how is it that we can prevent the widening of inequalities, because there's an access that typically students from the urban areas have in terms of infrastructure. So typically the students from the urban areas have access to infrastructure, maybe better quality of education too as compared to some of the rural areas as well. So how is it that we're going to bridge this particular educational gap that exists with AI and other aspects? So my question, this question is to Dr. Nikhil Agarwal. You are coming from IIT Kanpur, and IIT Kanpur has been a pioneer. Yeah, so I would request you to please respond to this question. It's working.
I would like to give a different aspect to it. Like, I think we are giving too much positivity to AI. I would like to play a devil's advocate here. You know, AI I see as a, imagine that there is a new Miss World and Mr. World being announced. Very good looking man and woman has been called as Mr. World or Miss India or Mr. India. And then every Bollywood person is running after them to cast them into the movie. And then you realize that these people cannot act. So AI exactly the new Mr. India or Mr. Or Mrs. India or Miss India. This is the situation of AI today. Maybe 10 years down the line, they may decide to act. So I think bridging the gap of skill and bridging the education gap between rural and urban India, I think it is a long way to go. First of all, like, and I'm sure there are so many professionals sitting here, I receive close to around 200 emails a day. Many students, many people startups send an email to me. And within a seconds, after reading those emails, and ChatGPT just a year old, you can make out which is a ChatGPT email and which is a personalized email. Within seconds. There are new authors which are propped up after ChatGPT introduction on LinkedIn. There are millions of new authors. They are posting, they have never written a word in their own life. Now they are posting one article a day. Within seconds you can make out, is this their own content or is it AI based content? So AI has not become intelligent enough to fool human being till date. I think the replacement of AI, human will not happen. It will not be so easy. It will take maybe 10 years, 15 years or more development. It's going to happen, but not happen today. So we require better models. We require more human-centric models. We require, there is a development happening. We may require more emotional intelligence into the build-up into the AI. Then only we can start teaching people at the much larger level. I don't think, and I'm really sorry to disappoint a lot of people here, I don't think AI can bridge the gap of education between urban and rural so easily as we speak about, as of now.
So thank you, Dr. Agarwal. I would say it is humane AI is what you're referring to in terms of try and look at building empathy and emotional intelligence or whatever it is into the technology as such. Now that we have understood the impact of AI on education and skilling a bit, I would request Haresh to take over and look at the employability in the jobs.
Different sentiments going on in here, isn't it, about the AI? I mean, how do you guys feel about AI? I mean, do you feel very upbeat about it? Any depressions coming in or feeling neutral? There's a code on this table. Everybody has this? Can you check this?
So there's a QR code on your tables.
There's a QR code. Do you want to scan this on your mobile and you'll come up with a screen?
You don't need to download any app.
No downloading. Let's talk something technology. So there's some technology happening. And just let me know, you're feeling upbeat about the AI, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling neutral about it. Let us know. We have somebody who has already voted. 2. Okay. And this is going at upbeat, neutral. Come on. Nobody's nervous here. Very good. Good signs. So you can look at the live results back there. So 9 people upbeat, 11, 8 neutral. Nobody is nervous yet. I think this is good sign. Okay. Some more people? Lovely. I think the mood is positive, Ganesh sir. We can go ahead with the next session. Otherwise, if it was depression, I think we would have gone to doctor. Though the doctor is orthopedic doctor, we could have still asked for some medicines. We have doctors who's going to talk about the AI. Shalin, I would want to come to you because you manage this job-related stuff. Everybody is worried, you know. I mean, Shagun said jobs are going, and people talk about jobs going. There'll be a lot of job losses which is happening. Job displacement is going to happen. What do you think organizations are doing about this? How can they handle this? And there could be economic and social impact of those people who are getting displaced. What do you think organizations are doing for this?
Sure. Well, good morning, everyone, and thanks, Haresh, for that question. If I may take a little step back and try to probably bring some context to the ChatGPT. The GPT essentially is general purpose technology. And this is not the first time that we're experiencing a general purpose technology. We've had, a 3-mast ship. We've had steam engines. We've had cars. We've had aeroplanes. And every time a general purpose technology has stepped in, people always wonder, is it going to displace the existing jobs? So chariots, carriages were probably the ones which were likely to get displaced with the advent of cars. And that is not the case. So on similar grounds, even if you see the pioneers in this space, Sam Altman himself said that the first line of jobs which are likely to go would be the blue-collar jobs. Then the next would be probably the beginning of the white-collar jobs, the data entry jobs, and so on and so forth. And the creativity and the more sort of skilled jobs would be the last to go. And contrary to his expectations, it is the reverse flow that happened. The creative jobs were the ones which were first to get affected. And you see the marketing and the digital domain got affected significantly more. And the blue collar is actually least affected as of now. So what has happened is human ingenuity sort of surpasses people's expectations. There will be early adopters and there will be ignorers of any new technology that comes in. So if you are part of those adoption cycle, if you evolve, so there is prompt technology engineers that are required right now. There are multiple new domains that have opened up, which allows people to now sort of upskill themselves and go past what is not available, what is not doable by AI. So in terms of, and I agree with most people who have said this repeatedly, that we are still many, many years ahead in terms of AI actually making a significant impact. There's a report by McKinsey which says 30% of jobs, by 2030 will be taken over by AI. But at the same time, Shagun said it very clearly that twice the number of jobs will be created. So we really don't have to worry. It's important to not ignore and just be part of the upskilling and going forward with the journey that AI brings forth. Thank you.
I think जो मुसीबत की बात कर रहे आई नहीं है, this is what we are talking and this is what I'm hearing. I think 2030, but we haven't seen the signs. वरिंदर जी, आप मारुति से आते हैं, वहाँ इतने सारे लोग काम करते हैं, and the job losses, though I mean whenever it happens, we cannot wait, and you're in the strategy department, HR. Can you tell us what organizations generally as they're doing, if at all there is a job loss or if there is a new technology coming in, there is new AI coming in and everybody needs to be aware of it. What organizations are doing, what kind of strategies they are doing to reskill the existing employees? Reskilling is very important because somebody is with company for 20 years and you cannot ask him, boss, go, I mean, it's done. You might want to spend time on reskilling them, giving them equal opportunity. What kind of strategies organizations are doing, sir?
Thank you for asking a very, very apt and pertinent question to me, sir. We in Maruti, we are viewing, artificial intelligence, auto AI and auto ML as a world of opportunities for us. And they are the enablers, and we have built it at 3-pronged strategy in our organization in terms of, first is creating awareness across Maruti at different levels. persona-wise, starting from blue collar to top. It starts from the top first, so we are creating a digital fluency skills, making top leaders aware, and then going it down the lines, and we are training all of them, making them aware how it is going to help them in enriching their jobs. Once they are aware, so then simultaneously we are introducing technology for managing change within the organization. So all the stakeholders are involved first, then introducing change gradually, evaluating change, not losing the human touch. It's from human resource to humanizing resource we are working at. So we have, three aspects. One is skill, 3S, skill, scale, scalability. Second is 3E in terms of economy, efficiency and effectiveness process. And next is 3C, communication, collaborative excellence and compassion. So seeing all these views we are designing, and then simultaneously we are creating an environment for upskilling, reskilling, and also whatever emerging skills are coming. So we are also spreading, training people within the organization. We have done both. First, how to create an ability, 3 parts: knowledge, skill, and ability. How to build those competencies. We have tied up with IITs and IIMs of the country to have cohorts to bring in, research and all those aspects. Joint research and cohorts have been created with the faculty. Second is we have adopted ITIs and institutions across India to build, create an curriculum for us, co-design the curriculum, which is the need of the industry. Third is we are also creating a startup ecosystem in Maruti to bring in and present and showcase what is happening in the world and keep improving day by day. So we have a Japanese philosophy of PDCA, plan, do, check, and act. And we do a lucid test where we are, where we want to be, and what are those tacit skills and engineering skills which we need to adopt for futures and keep upgrading them, build versus buy, both aspects. Thank you.
Lot of work being done at Maruti at this point of time, sir. I think there's another industry. Devashish sir, I would like to ask your view as well, because you also come from this construction kind of business and those things. Can you give us your insight, what's happening in your industry to reskill the people and giving them the level playing opportunities? Devashish sir. Do we have them? He's not there. I think it would have been really interesting to know that, because the IT industry, sir, everybody's preparing. But when there is a non-IT industry, the core manufacturing and where brick and mortar work is happening, I think we're missing some critical important points. Education, I think this is one more field where teachers might need to get upgraded. This is something where I think let's hear from Siddhant. Siddhant, can you tell us, in the educational institutes where teachers also might have to get upgraded, what kind of things can be done?
The teachers first need to understand that the curriculum also needs to be upgraded. Also, there needs to be certifications for the teachers to get upskilled. A lot of organizations these days are providing certifications. They have academia programs which they can collaborate with. The universities can collaborate with the organizations to be part of the academia programs. Get the teachers, the faculties upskilled, specifically on AI and Gen AI, get them certified so that they can further go back, train the students on the campus. That's one opportunity. The second is a lot of organizations again have this industry academia relationships, partnerships, where not just the certifications, but they also do a lot of TTT programs for the faculties, where they go on the campus, train the faculties, train the students on the campus. So that's another opportunity for them to be part of it. I think industry collaboration and partnership and exposure is something which goes hand in hand and can help the teachers be reskilled and upskilled to handle the questions that are coming in from the students directly.
I think hearing this question, the upskilling of teachers from the academician would be good. I think Venkete sir, can you share some insights about this? That what's happening with upskilling of the teachers with respect to AI?
Hello, thank you. I think you raised a very valid point that we need to
upskill, reskill, sometimes just give that sense of, first of all, it all starts with embracing the change. Whenever you want to say upskill or capacity building or leadership, we use it in different contexts. But basically, if you look at Telangana, what we are trying to do, we're not going to do one size fits it all kind of an approach. We're looking at the different categories of teachers. We have different levels. You have those from typical IITs, NITs, and from those from the universities. But you have to really categorize them. What is that basic? It's not that you start a program and AI and then float it and then give it to all. We are looking at core engineering, if you talk about technology. We're looking at specialized emerging areas, and then looking at the special needs. That's one. Two, we're also looking at a more inclusive approach towards capacity building. I was just making a comment in a lighter vein, if you don't mind. The whole panel is full of men. And if you look at the workplace today, if you look at my student base, 60% of my students are girl students. 50% are faculty from women segment. And I need to address those issues. So one, my upskilling has to be inclusive. Two, my upskilling has to be reaching the audience in the right manner. I can't have an advanced AI course where the core engineering is suffering because the basic knowledge is not there. So I will have to do a skill gap, knowledge gap, and a training and needs an assessment, and then do it. Second thing, you have to also recognize that somebody, our young girl told just some time back, I think she said, 100 kilometers, 200 kilometers, language changes, culture changes, approach changes. So you cannot be saying what happens in Delhi will happen in Hyderabad. So what happens in Odisha will not happen in Bengal. So we need to be region specific. And also the local, pace of learning. For example, those who are from rural backgrounds. My university has got 9,000 top minds of the state, if not country. They come from 10th class. We pick them up from 10th, the toppers, and we make them engineers. They have all studied in the local medium. So first is when I upskill, I have to upskill them to the language. Then I have to upskill them in technology. Then I have to upskill them in skills. Then I have to upskill them in placement. And so it's a big, I don't say it's a challenge, it's an opportunity, and especially people from the training and this thing. So my submission or my conclusion is that it's not a one-shot approach. It cannot be done with a single this thing. It has to be studied in detail and rolled out in phases. Thank you.
I was tempted to say that this is going to be big challenge, and the word you used, I'm so happy. I mean, it's not a challenge, it's an opportunity. I think excellent. That's really wonderful. The way. Ganesh, would you like to take up on this future?
Yeah, so now that we have understood the impact of AI on education and skilling, we also looked at employability and jobs and the kind of job impact and displacement. Let's look at future advancement and research that is happening in the field of AI. So this question is to you, Mr. Vinay. How can AI models be made more transparent, more interpretable, and for user trust? In terms of specifically, if you can touch upon areas like healthcare and finance, in terms of how is it that we can build models which can actually bring in a kind of trust factor? Yeah.
Sure, Ganesh. Good afternoon. First, my all views are mine. My brand McDonald's and my company have nothing to do with this. Okay, it's a byproduct come with when you work with a brand like McDonald's and Coca-Cola. I will just when you see the research development or the critical institutions like healthcare and all, I will give you a small example. It's a coincidence. Yesterday, my daughter was just tried to get some information on rickets, that is a disease, on ChatGPT. And it's because of the vitamin D and all. And she came and told me, Papa, how effortlessly it is coming. I said, no, beta, it's not came effortlessly. You are viewing it effortlessly. There are a hell lot of efforts gone inside that. So, and then whatever coming, the output of ChatGPT is the view or that is the knowledge what she is going to get. But if we are not going to be very transparent, we are not going to make her understand how this entire information is coming, it is going to be very, very dangerous. It is really going to be very, very dangerous. So, first thing is, why this information or the AI-based knowledge is important and how we can gain the trust of the user. So first, I think there are 5 components. Transparency is one of it. It should be fairness. You have to make user understand whatever the output is coming is quite fair. Second, it should be explainable. You can explain why it is coming. Third, I will take it, it should be robust. So we have to ensure user, whatever the technology we are using at the back end is robust enough and making the proper information as a output. Fourth one is the transparency. So we can expose our employees or the industry because we are still in a very, very initial stage of the adaptation of the AI. So we have to be very transparent. What kind of data model what kind of data set we are training. So those are the important things. And the fifth one is privacy. So how we will ensure the privacy is maintained out of all these things. So being a technocrat, I never see the front end of the ChatGPT because as a CIO, I have to ensure the data security, compliances, and the right information at the right time. So this is what is the importance I feel.
Okay. So thank you, Sumit. Sumit, you work in the healthcare domain, right? Yeah. So you've been doing a lot of innovation in that area. So can you just talk a little bit about how you establish trust whenever someone is referring to a tool like ChatGPT or whatever it is? Can I trust that information 100%? Now there's front end and back end that we talked about. So can you just talk about implications in healthcare?
Sure. When it comes to healthcare, I think adoption of AI, it's going to be very, very slow, right? Again, primarily because of the impact, right? You're touching somebody's life, right? So I'm not saying that it will not get adopted at all. The adoption is going to be primarily to start with the administrative jobs, right? Which does not impact patient journey. But when it comes to patient journey, again, it would help aid in decision making. End of the day, the clinician is the one who needs to take accountability, right? And there is where the trust needs to come in from the clinician. Clinician needs to see there is enough trust in the decisions which is being supported by AI vis-a-vis AI driving clinical decisions. That's not going to help, right? And clinical pathways, etc., is something which will get enabled through AI. But end of the day, it will be dependent on patient outcomes, right? So are patients seeing the right outcomes? It is not about efficiency, it is not about cost, right? Yes, those are going to be important, but it is going to be all around patient safety, right? So again, I would say this industry is going to be slow in adopting it, especially on the clinical side, but there is going to be a lot of innovation out there.
Okay, thank you. So my next question is in the area of advancement and future advancements and research that is happening in the area of AI. So Saurav, you've been working in this area and you've been building a lot of applications and you're using the technology too. You have a research team as well. So can you just throw some light on what are the future advancements and how AI is going to impact us in the future with whatever peripheral and other technologies which are complementary to AI as well?
Sure. Hi all. So I'll take this question as the opportunity to share a vision for the future that I have, wherein most of the human labor, human effort is replaced by AI. So as of today, or if we go back in time when we did not have machines, why were humans working? Humans were working because of the compulsive needs of food, shelter, clothing, survival, and a curiosity to explore the universe or the world that we see around. Now, at that time when there were no machines, only energy that functioned was human energy. Human had to move their hands, human had to do things. Then machines came. Most of our work was taken over by those machines, but not all. And those machines were partially capable. They were not able to do they were able to do some physical things, some non-physical things, but as time proceeded, we learned what we have to do and what machines should do for efficiency. Similarly, when this advancement in machine learning and AI is coming, I see a world where a small number of humans and a large number of machines and AI bots are running this world, and humans do not have to work for livelihood, for survival. Most of the activities that we do on a day-to-day basis or corporates do will be replaced by AI bots, video bots, machine learning algorithms, and human time will be saved for even more constructive things like research or understanding the outside world in a deeper sense. We don't need to worry about food. We can, worry about looking at planets and stars and understanding what is out there. Or we can spend our time on creativity, which is driven by imaginations, which machines cannot do, including AI ML. And similarly, humans will spend their time on understanding their inner consciousness or their inner world and enjoying life. Like they'll be more with people, there'll be more connections, they'll be more with nature. So we are moving to a time when most of our tasks will be offloaded. The concerns that we have about reskilling or employability or jobs are only temporary. Temporary for this transition phase when the technology will take over most of the human effort and we don't have to do anything. In terms of the research direction, to support this, we are moving into in the immediate sense, autonomous driving is coming, human avatars are coming. We transitioned from chatbots to now voice interfaces are coming, and most of the human interactions is in voice. Those voice interactions or voice interfaces are just outside. They will be out in the market pretty soon. And then video interfaces are coming, video bots are coming, video avatars are coming who will be able to talk to humans like humans do. Today they're not able to emote well. They have limited understanding of the natural language and limited emotional intelligence, as everybody pointed out. But the research is paced in such a way that those milestones will be achieved in a few years, and we'll see a world where most humans do not need to work a lot. Yeah.
Thanks, Saurabh. My next question is to Dr. Nikhil Agarwal. You are widely traveled and you have actually been a part of so many symposiums across the world. How can AI be regulated to ensure ethical use across applications?
So there is, the ethical AI is certainly a big issue. There is already an effort going on, including the Government of India. There is a committee which has been formed to, in fact, other day, the Honorable Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar made a statement. There is a task force which has been constituted to understand the responsibility of the AI. So more than the ethical AI, I would use the term responsible AI. Ethics is a little a thin line. We all are responsible people, and that's what differentiate between us and any other robot or a machine, that the humans are more responsible, humans are more emotional. So my first comment about the emotional connect of artificial intelligence or emotional aspect of the any kind of machine which is there, which is important. There is a institute, in fact, now has been funded by most of the top tech institution. It's called Institute for Responsible AI. It is, I think, is based out of California. There is effort being done at the EU level about the responsible use of AI. So there is already quite an effort which is going on across the world, that how the AI, first of all, one of the challenge I'm sure a lot of you must have seen, the AI gives non-verified data. In fact, that problem has been partially resolved in the new version of Gemini, which is Google AI, which is also called the Bard. So in Bard, that is partially resolved, but their dependency is also on the search data. Now there is an effort going on with NVIDIA. NVIDIA has a new AI model called Merlin. Then Facebook has another model called Lalama. So, you know, there are various models which are trying to understand and verify the data whether, so if you upload the fake data online, let's say this particular event has happened on 26th of January 2024, and after a while you ask the AI that what happened in this event in 2024, what Shrikant Sinha or Nikhil Agarwal or anybody else have said, most likely AI will pick up that information and give you. So that is the responsibility of the AI to give a verified information. So still the dependency is on the online data. The verification is a challenge. So that's the reason I said when the AI has to be more emotional and responsible as we go forward. And there has to be a regulation. You cannot go without regulation. Humans are bound by the regulation. Why not AI?
Okay, so thank you very much, sir. So my next question is to Professor Venkete Ramana. How can countries collaborate to establish constituent international standards for AI regulation?
I'll just reply very shortly. First of all, we are in the age of co-opetition. Co-opetition would mean not just competition, collaboration too. So when you talk about co-opetition, it means collaboration between countries, states, and entire thing. For example, the government of Telangana yesterday announced that we'll have the AI summit in Telangana. So it's a beginning. Similarly, if you have best practice around, like what Dr. Agarwal said, we could probably invite stakeholders to partner, to work together, and treat it like taking his word of responsible AI, how do we make it more societal? How do we make it more inclusive? Again, I go to the point of inclusive. And how do we put some kind of a milestones to everything? Because you can't take everything which comes without a proper examination or evaluation. There are ifs and buts to that. So to begin with, I think, you know, India being the tech leader and going to be the future, the talent is here, we have the demographic dividend. I think we and people like us, all of us sitting in this hall, should really make a good amount of exercise on this. Without proper planning, it cannot be done. As they say, you know, 98% should be pre-launch of all these initiatives and just 2% should be review. So I think it holds a lot of responsibility for governments, for NGOs, for tech companies, for the educational system also to look into this. And I think the beginning is just to have an open mind on this and not come to any kind of prior decisions on this. I think let's keep in fact, I welcome on behalf of the government of Telangana, that whenever the date is announced, the AI summit will be there. I have with me colleagues from the government. So I think, you know, we'll pass on that. I think that's the first thing I can tell about my state. Thank you.
Yeah, so India also took a lead with the GPAI that happened about a couple of weeks before here in Delhi, where about 29 countries participated together to collaborate and things like that. So that's something which is an excellent sign as well. Haresh, you want to take over before we move further?
Because when we had Vivekanand, you know, so somebody from Adobe, hardcore technology guy, I always had this question, you know, whenever you download this app, they would want to access everything on your mobile. All the data, I want to access your contact cards and your emails and everything, I think. They keep taking the data. Where these data are going, I think. I don't know. I mean, they might be collecting it for training. We don't know. I mean, so, Vivek, I would like to ask you this question, you know, how are organizations, those who are working on these AI kind of apps, they're taking informed consent for, you know, to the user, that informed consent for using the training data, and are they safeguarding that data in interest of the person who owns the data? If my data is going, are you telling me that, yes, this is all I'm taking and I'm going to use this and I'm going to protect it? What's organizations doing for this?
Thank you for setting up beautiful context. So this is related to responsible AI. So whenever we are advancing to technology, there are potential risks associated to it. So we have to be very careful. How do we use it? And the important aspect is that we have to think about from 3W perspective. what, where, and how. So basically what means, what is purpose of collecting that data? Why that particular website or application is asking for that information? So there should be clear communication. So whenever we are downloading any application, visiting any website, there should be a disclaimer. Many times it pops up, but we ignore. And then there are cookie settings, right? What information it is going to store. It goes through those cookies. But we very often we do say like accept all without reading everything. So that is the problem. So websites and applications, whatever organization they are making those applications, they have to be careful to give some sort of control to the users, what they want to share and what they do not. So there should be some sort of setting. Yes, I want to share my name. Maybe I want to share my city. Not more than that. So there should be options provided to the end user. So that's what, when we develop any software, we provide terms and conditions. Okay, we often avoid that. We said, yes, go ahead and install it. So might be mobile application. It's sending your, it's reading your all your SMSs. It's reading entire your call logs, right? So you have to be careful what application is supposed to do that. Is that legitimate? Are you agree with that or not? Then only you proceed. If you don't agree with that terms, do not use that software. Look for an alternate which is better in terms of how that is going to use your data. So first thing I talked about, how. Okay, so what. So what it is going to store. Second thing we have to keep in mind is where. So where it will store, if it is secure or not. So what data center it is using, it is security encrypted or not. Because nowadays there is lots of hacking instances. Entire website, entire data, even you can say data centers are getting hacked. So we have to be careful if organization is giving me guarantee that it will be saved in safe store or not. And third thing, when it will be used. Okay, and it will not be shared by anyone. So these are the three things which we need to be careful while visiting any website, installing application. So let's be careful about these things. And let me add some more context. Okay, it's not about organizations. Even Google, right? Recently, 2.5 years ago in US like advanced country, there was a law case where a law firm, on behalf of users, so they, put a, you can say, case against Google that they are not honoring the terms and conditions of the incognito mode. Okay, so most people use it. Okay, very dangerous thing. Okay, if you are entering some data, you are searching something, what sites you are visiting, all those information got exposed. So in that case, it was exposed, and Google also accepted that those data were somehow exported and sent and you can say sold to third-party advertisement companies. Okay, so that is major you can say violation in terms of data privacy. So we have to be careful. Even companies like Google may sometimes fall. So as an organization, as a professional, you have to make regular audits. Even you are safe, but make some regular audit, make some ethical hacking to understood if there is a risk towards the data that you are storing from the end user perspective. Because you are liable and you are responsible to maintain that securely, and that data is not compromised. So that is organization's responsibility. And also as an individual, we have to be careful how we are accepting those terms and conditions. Without reading we are proceeding. We have to be very, very careful.
So looks like it's coming on to us only that we have to be a little bit careful. Companies like Google also have to be careful if such big companies also can fall prey of this kind of hackers. I think let's measure some sentiments, guys. Do you have this open? The QR code stuff? QR code thing? I would like to hear from you. Last time it was close question, either yes, no, or you to just choose something. Now I want you to put a word. When you hear a word called AI, what comes to your mind? Till yesterday, chat GPT was coming in my mind, or somebody might talk about job loss. What first word comes to your mind when you hear the word AI? Can you please type in that?
Now you exit the app, you can just scan the QR code again and then give your response.
Make in India. Wow, this is the live. This is real live, sir. Live session happening. Okay, we have intelligence, easy transformation, generative AI. There's nice word cloud coming up, gentlemen. If you want to see it behind, lovely. Okay. What all coming up? What word comes to your mind when you hear the word AI? Job loss is coming in the center somewhere. Okay. Did I see that the word? Wow, wow, look at that. Threat, support, transformation. Wow. Excellent. I think there's a range of emotions are spreading here. They say in Gita also, Ati sarvatre varjete. So anything which is more or excess is poison. AI इतना ज़्यादा करते हैं हम लोग and ज़्यादा poison नहीं हो जाए. But I think we need to take care also of those kind of things. This is an open question, I would like to say, but Shrikant sir.
Mr. Patel.
Yes, sir.
I would just like to mention one thing. A
Yes,
couple of years ago, Sophie, the first humanoid, had come to Hyderabad, and I had the opportunity of meeting its creator, David. And I asked if Sophie and Sir Alan Turing were having a conversation, what would be about? And I thought that was the best definition that I heard of AI, which was endless possibilities.
Endless possibilities. Wow, look at that. I mean, so possibilities are getting created, and I think earlier the word with kind of challenge which I had in my mind, but when I walk out, I will walk out with opportunity. I think this is the kind of positivity is getting created. But we need to take care of lot of things, lot of new researches which have to happen, and breakthrough technologies or breakthrough innovations needs to happen. But this is the area which I want to focus. So what breakthroughs are required in areas specifically for privacy preserving technique? The things like federated learning which we have heard. What kind of learnings, what kind of new breakthroughs which is required specifically in this area? Anybody would like to answer? And Shrikant sir, if you can also answer the privacy preserving techniques.
Thank you, first of all, inviting me for such a galaxy of experts, being part of them. I think what we need to understand is a couple of things. First is, our students who are entering college today, by the time they graduate, 40% of the jobs will be non-existent, right? So we have to know that. Of course, our friend from Google, etc., from Adobe said that, there are times when you are told what is happening with your data. But I want a show of hands over here in the hall, right, to see how many of you have actually read the end user license agreement before clicking I agree. Only one person. Are you a lawyer by profession? Yes, you are. There you go. Well, so that's what I'm saying. And if I ask a question, right, how many of us have given our Gmail passwords to a friend or a family member? Can I see a show of hands, please?
We're not showing this.
Be true to yourself. Right. So that's what I'm saying. Privacy is something that we are not very, very careful about. Right? A couple of years ago, there was this startup. I was part of the NASCOM, I was the CEO of NASCOM Foundation earlier, and we used to talk about tech for good and also startups, etc. So there was the startup which used to actually, whenever you enter a mall, through NFC it used to find out what is there in your notes and your list. For example, you're looking at a Nike shoe and you put it over there, automatically you would get a message from the Nike store over there. So what was happening in the background was this was being analyzed, right? And it was not a real auction, but an AI-based auction through the various stores over there, where actually you were a product and you were being sold to those stores, and whoever was giving the best return and scheme you were guided to that store saying that, look, this is how you reach that, and automatically a Google map would open up, right? And this was about 4 or 5 years ago. Today, if you look at it, it's important for us to see what's happening. About 6 months ago, 1.5 million records, right? Using a thing which was PassGen, a password, AI password generator, more similar to ChatGPT. My God. That was a thunderous thing, but anyway. So what had happened, of course, you'd be surprised to hear that out of this 1.5 million records, in less than a minute, 51% passwords are hacked. Less than a minute. In 10 minutes, 61% were hacked. And so on and so forth. 80% were hacked in a day. And I'm not talking about the favorite password of all of us, password 1234, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about proper passwords. And that is where it is. So today you have to understand that a lot of people are using, for example, hacking that is happening right now has moved to the blockchain, right? You have to have, so we have to think for the future. Today we are talking about algorithms, we are talking about large language models, we are talking about small language models. With large language models, ChatGPT, the compute power that is required today is huge, right? How do you ensure, so such models have to be created which can easily be implemented, right? And we will need to come up with different models. Quantum security is one such thing, quantum cryptography as it's called, is one such model which can definitely be adopted. But, as a relief to all the people over here, I don't think, AI is going to take over, at least not till the compute power available today is 10 times of what it is. But if I apply the Moore's law, which used to be technology changes, in 18 months, it's much shorter cycle now. So probably, in less than a decade, we could reach there. But today, what is important is that as of now, we need different thought processes. We need responsible AI, as my co-panelist Nikhil ji also said. And that is where the thing is. So we ourselves have to ensure that we are careful. We protect ourselves as much as possible. Cyber security. In fact, in IR 4.0, 5.0, it's a host of technologies which will have to work together. It will not be only AI and machine learning. By the way, I also have an objection to the word learning, because as per me, pets and machines get trained, right? It's human who learn. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think this is a new type of places where the research must focus. Ganesh sir, would you like to take us towards the end?
Yeah. So I have a question for Mr. Neeraj Arora. So, sir, you represent ASSOCHAM, which is a Chamber of Commerce for the industry, and you work with government influencing policy and regulation and aspects like that. So what collaborative measures can establish worldwide ethical standards to ensure accountability and ethical breaches, right? So how is it that you are working with the government, and what is happening, if there is something that you could share, which is for the public domain, right? And I'm very sure a lot of these things are confidential, I understand, but if there is something that we can hear, which can be shared in the public domain, please.
Yes. Thank you so much. So first of all, I think we should start with the definition of AI. So, I mean, you were just asking, what is your understanding with AI? So AI is basically not the artificial intelligence, but the intelligence which is artificial. So I would say that, AI is basically the simulation of human intelligence by the machines. So, we cannot think of any technology, whether it is good or bad, without the human intervention. So human will also be there, human intervention will also be there, human intelligence will also be there. So the only point is that, the development, designing, deployment, use of this technology must be in a safer, transparent, accountable and responsible manner. We all know that, every potential opportunity comes with a potential risk. So the same is with AI also. And we have seen it many in the past also that, whenever a new technology comes, it comes with the opportunities and the risks. So we have to take care that, we have to utilize, maximize the opportunities and minimize the risks. So I think, if we take care of 4 or 5 aspects, 4 or 5 factors, I think it will be beneficial for the Indian economy. The betterment of human life, for increasing the efficiency, the comfort. So I think the government, because we are industry association and we have specific councils, we have a specific, team committee on this subject also. And various leading IT companies, organizations working in AI are associated with us. And government is definitely making policies time to time and improving these policies with the inputs from, the industries. So many meetings have been done and, many regulations have been formed and government is now fine-tuning these regulations by the input of various, such companies. So I think government is now working on 4 or 5 aspects, which is data privacy, first of all, because, now the technologies are using lots of personal data and this data is stored somewhere, we all know. So government is making policies so that this data can be prevented, this theft, can be stopped, and this data can be utilized for the betterment, for the, so government is making policies for that. Lots of inputs are already given, this brainstorming is going on. Second, I'm personally handling this education and skill vertical, and I've seen that government is doing lots of work on skilling, upskilling and reskilling, because that is very much required. We all should know that, the people, those who are working, the companies, those who are working in this field, they should design, develop, deploy and use, this entire system in a responsible manner. So for that purpose, I think skilling, upskilling and reskilling is definitely required, and many companies have already started working on this. So our Ministry of Skill, NSDC, they are also working on this. They have specifically designed courses on AI now. We have just listened to ICT chairman also. He has also mentioned that now this course has been introduced in our engineering curriculum also. My son is studying in 9th class, so he also has a subject specifically on AI. We have never seen this subject in 9th class. So they have a subject AI, So at that level, and NEP also has this subject AI, Third, I think, the government is working on improving the infrastructure because, definitely these technologies need lots of infrastructure, the high-speed internet, which is not there, even in the villages now. So, third point is this, and then I think government is working on this, regulations also. So they are working on making, stringent rules, ethical concerns, about using this technology. So these 4 or 5 vectors where government is closely working with the industries. That's it. Thank you.
So I think we have actually exceeded the time allotted to us. So we may have to skip the live Q&A, but there is a cloud that we asked. There's a question that we asked to the audience. Are you fine to exchange or compromise your data privacy for better AI convenience? So we have a voting of about 23 people who say no, data privacy is more important than whatever. So what is the response? So they want data privacy over convenience. Okay, so that's good.
So I think we should talk to these 3 guys.
These
are more important.
Ganesh sir, this is like, there is a very old quote from Mahabharata. जानमि अधर्मम नचते निवृत्ति. अधर्म क्या है मुझे पता है, लेकिन मैं उससे बाहर नहीं आ पा रहा हूँ. ये 25 लोग जो है, ask them whether they are really not compromise their thing despite knowing that a lot of data is going in there. So हम लोग को पता है कि what we are doing wrong, but still we are getting into it more and more. We need to be more careful, as a lot of people have said us. Yes, sir, you want to add something?
Just a point that actually there are 2 questions, separate questions. I'm willing to exchange data, but I don't want to compromise my data. So it's a double-edged kind of a question.
Double-edged kind of stuff.
I'm willing to exchange data as far as it's for good.
As
but
far
I
as
definitely don't want to compromise on my data.
Very good.
Okay, so thank you very much, panelists, for contributing to this exhilarating discussion, I would say, about disruption to innovation, covering various aspects that we talked about: impact to education and skilling, impact on AI to employability and jobs, talking about future of AI. We're also talking about regulation a lot, and in terms of data privacy and security. So thank you very much. And since the questions are something which are already put on the Mentimeter.
One thing I would like to say that, it's very, very important. May artificial intelligence is coming, so from a responsibility perspective, it's very, very important wherever it's compromising the human part or human, social part is concerned. No technology is good. So that's what, while we are evaluating technology for our, organization as well. So we are keeping in view all those aspects while evaluating, that up to what extent it is going to impact and create, damage to the humans. So then we ignore that. We take it away. If it is impacting health, it is impacting humans. So I always use one word. उसपे हम बोलते हैं, when human touch की हम बात करते हैं, कि मैं फूल हूँ गुलाब का, एक कसक छोड़ जाऊंगा. मैं फूल हूँ गुलाब का, एक कसक छोड़ जाऊंगा, मुरझा भी गया तो महक छोड़ जाऊंगा. So that's the beauty of it. So in terms of skilling also, we always say that तालीम कहाँ दी जाती है उन परिंदों को उड़ानों की, तालीम कहाँ दी जाती है उन परिंदों को उड़ानों की जो खुद तय करते हैं मंजिल आसमानों की. So sky is the limit for us. So let's work and find the world of opportunities through this AI. Thank you.
So thank you very much. So the questions that are already pooled on the Mentimeter, since we don't have time for the live Q&A, we're going to ask the panelists, because we have a group that we have created. We're going to look at responses from them and try and reach out those responses to you as well. Yeah, so that we can proceed with the rest of the agenda items. Over to you, Abhishek. Thank you very much for those questions, and we are definitely going to come back to you and respond on those questions with the help of our esteemed panel.